AMD's 12-core processors, a Sony VAIO review, and more coming up on Hot Hardware with Dave Altavilla and Marco Chiappetta.
Times are tough, so save time and money by skipping business trips and using GoToMeeting. Visit gotomeeting.com/techpodcast and get 30 days for free.
Welcome back to Hot Hardware on TechVi. So let's get right to it. AMD is shipping some new processors. What's exciting about this? These things have 8 and 12 cores. Dave, what's the story with AMD's latest?
Yeah, it's actually a server or an enterprise processor that AMD has put together here. And they sort of leaked it out a little bit over one of their blog posts. The AMD Director of Product Marketing said that one of their resellers had accidentally leaked this information, and they were going to announce in the next coming months 8 and 12 core processors based on what we know now to be a pair of Istanbul 6 cores on a single package. So they're taking 2 6-core processors and putting them on the die on a single package to add up to as many as 12 cores on, one socket. It's actually pretty impressive. So
if you're talking to a normal person like me, what exactly is this going to be used for? I mean, 8 and 12 cores, I don't think there's a lot of software out there that can take advantage of this. Is this really for virtual machines?
Yeah, well, certainly virtual machines, that's an application where, you've got a bunch of users banging on a single server to, run applications. But in the data center where, performance per watt and performance per, and bandwidth and compute power per square millimeter is hugely important. That's where these cores, these processors, these many-core processors come into play and where they're most attractive. So it's definitely an enterprise-type product. And what's interesting about it is that, for years, Intel didn't have this this serial technology on chip. They had this thing called a front-side bus. And it didn't allow them to scale as many cores on chip, on die, on the same package because of it. It was, lots of pins and it was bulky. AMD always had hypertransport, which is a serial connectivity. It's a serial link, and allowed them to scale, multiple cores on a chip much sooner than Intel. Now it's like the two of them are going, head to head in this, battle royale of how many cores you can squeeze on a chip. So it's pretty impressive. It's eventually going to trickle down to the consumer space. Right now, this AMD technology is more of an enterprise play. But in the end, consumers are going to get, more horsepower, more cores as well. And we're just going to have to find a way to use up that power, Randall. I think, Ayaz, I think you can figure that out, right?
Yeah, well, Randall and I, we get confused all the time. From super-powered processors to an ultra-low voltage one, the Sony VAIO Y series features a CL-UV processor and, of course, features Sony's really slick styling. Marco, Hot Hardware, and I can never say this name, did a review on the Sony VAIO Y series. How did it fare?
It actually fared really well. Now, what's interesting, besides the hardware you just mentioned, the CULV processor, and the fact that it's a Sony VAIO, is that it's actually a relatively affordable machine. Typically, Sony's VAIOs have been, stylish and really slick machines that carried a price premium. But the model we tested with the 1.3 gigahertz processor, 4 gigs of RAM, and Intel graphics was under $800, and it fared really well in the benchmarks, relatively speaking.
So, it's for styling-wise, I mean, it looks like it's going up against more of an IBM kind of Lenovo styling. It doesn't seem to be as round as a VAIO normally looks. What can you tell me about the weight and the actual feel, the build quality?
So build quality was top-notch. The unit is nice and thin. We definitely would put it in the same class as the ThinkPad Edge that we spoke about on a previous show. Battery life, Sony claims, up to 8 to 10 hours. We only tested it at 3, but our test is, really taxing and stresses the system 100%. As far as weight, it's going to vary depending on the configuration. It's about 3.5 pounds the way we tested it. All around, just, a nice little machine, great keyboard, nice screen. Considering that it's under $800, we think Sony did a really good job with it.
Sounds pretty cool. Some hardware was used for some pretty shady purposes recently. Over in Pennsylvania, a school seems to be spying on its students with webcams. Dave, can you fill in the viewers about this? This just seems really bizarre.
Yeah, this is one of those stories that just went viral across the web because it really, hits a chord with so many people, whether you be a mom or dad or, a high school student yourself. Actually, Lower Merion School District actually had issued Apple MacBooks to their schools, to specifically high school students, and they're property of the school system. And supposedly there's conflicting stories out there. The students were or were not supposed to take them home. But if they're loaning out MacBooks, which portable personal computers, you would think that there's probably some access to take them off school grounds. At any rate, they made the mistake of firing up the webcam on this MacBook and then trying to reprimand one of the students for allegedly doing drugs on camera.
So this is
That's
really
the story.
This is a case of flat-out stupidity of the school for actually mentioning that they were spying on these kids. That's what the crazy thing is. I mean, nobody would have known that they were doing this unless they try to reprimand the student, like you put it. Oh, so what do you think the answer is? Should schools not give out laptops? Should students be putting duct tape all over cameras? What do you think should happen?
Well, duct tape in the webcam, if you're borrowing it, probably might not be a bad idea if you think your school system might be up for spying on you. But I think it was such a viral and talked about story all over the internet and in different media outlets that there's a lesson learned here. Certainly, I mean, again, there's conflicting reports. We're hearing that the school only activates the webcams when they when it was taken off of school grounds and they were trying to locate it because, kind of like LoJack, it was stolen, and so they were going after the student for that. But the problem was that, the administration accused this kid of something other than, taking the MacBook. They accused him of doing drugs, and it was actually Mike and Ike's candies that he had in his possession, big, powerful candies like that. They're dangerous. That's
a lot of sugar. You can get, like, on a real sugar high, you might go rampant. You might take 40 photos on photo booth. Wow, yeah. I think that's a snafu of a large degree right there. Switching gears entirely, there's a new mid-level priced ATI graphics card out. It's called the Radeon 5830. Marco, you've reviewed this graphics card. What's good about it? What's bad about it? And what makes this mid-priced anyway?
So, well, what makes it mid-priced is that the GPU's kind of been pared down. It's the same chip used in the 5870 and 5850, but some of the stream processors have been disabled. There are 1120 in the 5830, and there's 1600 in the 5870. But by doing that and using more of their available chips, they're able to sell the card at a lower price. So the good thing is you get all the features and a lot of the performance of a higher-end card. The bad thing is it kind of consumes similar power to the higher-end cards for less performance. But as far as enthusiasts are concerned, I don't think they care about a few watts when we're talking about a high-end graphics card.
So performance-wise, does it feel mid-range, or does it feel more like a higher-end? I mean, what's the trade-off?
Well, the trade-off is strictly in frame rate. So in comparison to NVIDIA's current lineup, it's about as fast as a GeForce GTX 275, which also happens to be the same price. But the advantage with the ATI card is that it's a newer architecture. It supports DirectX 11, ATI's Eyefinity technology. It's just a more future-looking card, and at the same price point and same performance, probably the better buy for most people.
Hey Dave, how about you fill in the viewers about that great giveaway you guys are doing? I hear you're giving away an awesome gaming rig.
Yeah, absolutely. We're showing the love, continuing to show the love, carrying over from February and the Valentine's Day holiday week. We are giving away a CyberPower PC, a high-end gaming rig. Contest ends March 14th, and it is a high-end rig. It's based on a Core i7-920 Intel processor and Radeon HD 5870 high-end graphics card. And stop on by the site, join up, and you could win some hot hardware yourself.
And that's it for this edition of Hot Hardware on TechVi. Dave, Marco, thanks for all the information. You can find everything we talked about, including that cool giveaway, at HotHardware.com. I'm Ayaz Akhtar, and we'll see you later.